Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining this session. This is, you can say, one of the hardest topic we have, one of the difficult topic we have in Cisco Viptela SD-WAN. Today we are going to learn about policy, and that policy will be nested. As you know that from VSmart, whenever you are enabling any policy, that policy means at a moment you can go and activate only one policy. So if only one policy will get activated, what about if I have 10 control policy inside that one policy? And what about I have maybe 15 data policies? So you have to create your policies in a way that all the independent or all the standalone control policy and data policies, they glued inside big giant policy. And that is nothing but nesting of policy. Means inside policy you are calling other policies step by step or side by side, etc. What we are going to do, we will try to break these policy. So we'll go and create policy 1, policy 2, policy 3, policy 4, etc. We are also going to create at least 6 to 7 policies, and we will glue all policies all together, and we'll see that with that policy how the traffic behavior, what type of benefits we have. Okay, so now you will see that although when you are pushing the configuration to the device, right, it may be 100 line or it may be 200, 300 line configuration. In configuration you are giving interface configuration, you are giving basic configuration, basic draft, like AAA, OMP, some protocols, some interface related configuration, some SNMP, etc., etc. So maybe it is 200 or 300 line configuration, but when you go and push the policy, maybe your policy is 300 lines. In that 300 line, or maybe more than that, maybe 500 lines of policy you're pushing. In that 300 lines of policy, maybe your central policy or control plus data, like that you can think. And 200 lines, it is coming via localized policy. Even you will see some more entries will come, maybe 1000 lines will come via the security policy. Because when you go and create security policy, so many things will be coming with that security. So far you can see in our training that initially we have created our policy in terms of CLI, just to understand that you can go and write the policy in VSmart. VSmart will go and push the policy to edge, VEdges, etc., etc. But when we'll go and learn about security policy, you'll find it's almost difficult to write it via CLI. You have to go and use the GUI or APIs to do that. Okay, so security policies, the length of security policies even more and more and more, because one item you'll click, behind the scene they will generate 5 to 6 CLI configuration items. Okay, so now let's go step by step, and since we are learning about our control and data policies, so why not to go and create nested policy. So we'll go and create nested policy, and we don't know that what is the requirement and what we want to do, etc., etc. We will discuss that this is the requirement, and then we'll go and create the policy. Okay, so let's see what are the things we want to do. Let me go back to the policy slide. Few of the policies we have done earlier. So what I want to do here is this. Obviously we will go and add our C float template. This is one of the data policy, right? So in our nesting policy, I will go and add this C float. Then let's see, we haven't done traffic engineering. So we'll go and add one traffic engineering policy. We haven't added service chaining. So we'll go and add this service chaining as well. What is this traffic engineering policy is telling that, for example, few of the branches. So in our case, we'll take like this. Branch 1 will prefer data center 1, and branch 2 will go and prefer data center to where is my notepad? Sanjay, what is happening with him? Is coming, joining, leaving. Okay, so in this nesting of policy, what we will do that we'll go and add policies. I will go and add one C float data policy. Then we'll go and check one traffic engineering policy where policy is prefer DC. That means branch 1 will prefer DC1 and branch 2 will prefer DC2. You'll understand when I'll go and create the policy. Then we'll do some sort of service chaining. In service chaining, what we'll do that VPN 10 will go towards firewall and then it will go to the destination. But VPN 20 directly from one branch, it will go to other branch. So they have branch to branch communication. But here it will go to the data center firewall and then it will go to the destination. Right. Then we'll go and create one NAT related policy that will fall under data policy. So these four, then we'll go and create one more policy called VPN membership policy. And then we'll go and add one more policy. That policy will be more likely related to multi-topology or segmentation. So we are going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 policy inside same policy. So 1 up to 6. Okay. All right. Again, this is just that we are discussing that, okay, these many policy will go and add. But you find the complexity here is this, that there may be chance that one policy is telling the devices that go in this direction and other policy, it will tell that device to go in that direction. So there may be chance that while creating the nesting of policy, with one policy, the direction will be different, other policy direction may be different. If you have that much conflict while pushing the policy itself will go and throw you error. It will tell that you have some problem in your logic. Okay, and that's the biggest difficulty we have while doing the nesting of policy. While doing nesting of policy, we should be clear that what exactly we want from the overlay. Okay, so good news is this, that policy number 1 is already there. I will go and call this policy. In previous section, we have created it, day number 16. This policy we have. So leave this. Rest all 5 we don't have. We'll go and create. Okay. All right. So I think if I go back, I will lose this. I will lose this notes. But never mind. We are going to create these 6. And let's do this. Let me clean this. Clear, and let's go to our login section. Let me log into the lab. Okay, and so what I will do, there are some existing policies there in the vManage. From that existing policy, I will go and abstract few of the configuration elements. I'll go and take some configuration item for our lab. And what policies we want. Let me quickly list here. Otherwise, we may lose what we want to do. So we want to create C float template or policy. This is nothing but data policy. I'll write data policy. Then second, we want to check VPN membership. Not in exact order that I'm writing here, but we have to create 6. Then number third was traffic engineering. This is again control policy. Number 4, we may have service insertion or something. That is also control policy. Then fifth, we want to create maybe topology policy, and this is also control policy. What was the other one? Prefer DC policy, something like that. That is also the control policy. So we have, you can see only one data policy, and then we'll go, oops, NAT I have missed, I think. Oh, we have total 7, right? So NAT policy data. Okay. So this is the list. We want to do like this. Okay. Let's do it. This is already done from previous section. I'll go and call this. Call this policy. We'll call that. Then let's go and do some abstraction. I will go and copy a few of the items. You'll understand that, and I want to reuse that item. So let's go here, connect the lab. Okay. I think someone is using this lab. Okay, no problem. Let me refresh this page so we can log in and we can use it. I'm refreshing this page. Otherwise, we'll go and create new session and we'll perform that lab. It's taking too much time. Let me go and open new vManage session. Okay, I clicked. It's taking some time to get open. Let's wait. Taking some time to load. I don't know why. Strange. Let me check the CLI. vManage. It's there. Okay, it's there. Let's go back to the dashboard. It's quite a strange that it is taking this much time to open. Let me refresh one more time. Okay. Okay, and now I think we'll get the access. All right, so what we can do, we can go to the configuration, and inside configuration, we have policy option. So you can go to the configuration and you can go to the policy where we have so many different type of policy, inbuilt policies, not inbuilt, you can say, but that is there with this lab. I want to use multi-topology lab. This is one of the interesting lab. We have multi-topology plus firewall insertion. So I will go and review this. Oops, lab, and I I want to create my lab very much like this, and we'll go add few of our policies as well. So we want to create one big giant lab. Let me copy this policy here. Let me decrease the font size. Okay, and see, the first policy is VPN membership. What it is telling, simply we'll go and create it. So it is telling that, okay, sequence 10, match VPN 10, take it, match VPN 20, take it, rest of the VPNs, reject it. So what does it mean? It is telling that for this particular fabric, we are authorizing only VPN 10 and VPN 20. So all the fabric traffic, uh, now they are belonging to 10 and 20 only. So suppose if you have three different VPNs, a VPN 10, 20, 30. If they are not part of VPN's membership, that means they are not part of Fabric. That's the meaning of this. So we'll go and create this VPN membership policy first. And you can see in the bottom that it's a VPN membership policies type of control policy. And then how it is applied, you can see it's applied like as it is. So let's see how we can go and do this VPN membership policy first of all. Later on, we'll go and call all these policy one by one in our policy. So where we are, we can go and click add policy, right? And we have VPN 10, we have VPN 20, means all those VPNs list, those things we already have. So I can go next here, and in the next control plane policy section, you can see that you have VPN membership policy that you can go and click create new. I want to create new name. I'll go in VPN 10 and 20 members. Then site list where you want to apply, I want to apply to all the branches, all the data centers, all sites. Select one or more VPN. I want VPN 10 and VPN 20, part of VPN, save it. Next and next. This policy name. See, this is the policy name, right? That uh, that you can go and add different policies here, right? So this will be your bigger framework where you want to add different policies. Okay, so this is my nesting or nested policy. And then you can see that you have VPN member, it is there. Now you can go and click preview, and you can see VPN membership sequence 10 match VPN 10 except 20 except default action reject just 10 to all sites 100 to 400 my VPN 10 to. It's very easy, right? We can go and click save this policy. Great. So what we have done that we have created one of the policy, and that policy name, let me decrease the font size so you can see all of few of the policies I actually don't want here. Let me go and delete it. Maybe I don't want this hub and spoke. Delete this. I don't want this. I'm just making little bit more space here. So it's very important that you should know that when you are creating the control policy, data policy, where it is. So on top, you can see that you have custom option. Here you can see that you have centralized policy, localized policy, CLI policy, list, QS, ACL route policy. We'll come to that later on. But in the centralized policy, you can see that you have topology. That means the control policy. You have traffic means data policy. If you go and click to the topology, you will see here VPN membership. We have created one VPN membership policy that is in the bottom. Maybe it's hard for you to see, but it's VPN 10 under 20. It is already there. It's very good. Now we can go back to the main section where we have all the apply policy names listed. So that is your centralized policy. You can go there. So we are very good. What we have done, we have created one, we want to create one giant policy, nested policy, where we want to map everything. In that regard, we have created one policy called nested policy. Let me search here. And this is the policy we created, but at the moment we have added only one. So what we can do here, you can see that we have this option and you can click edit and C float, right? We have created this C float earlier. So I can go and click this C float. I can't see anything that I can call, no problem. Let's click to data traffic. Here also you can see that I don't have option to call either C float or this. So what we can do, here on top you can see that you have apply policy. This section is very important if you are doing this first time. So you may have difficulty to find where to go and call the policies. So you have to go, if you want to add data policy, you have to go here to traffic rules and you need to call it. So what does it mean? Let me clean this screen. That you need to go here to the traffic rules and then you have to go and click the data, traffic data, and you want to add policy, but this time you don't want to create new, you want to import, right? So we'll go and import the existing policy, and if you go and search, we created one policy called cfloat. You can't see that cfloat, where it is, let's see. Yeah, cfloat data policy. This is that we have created, right? So I can click import. Then I can go to cfloat template itself. Let's click there. And import existing. And here, what is the name? Yeah, only this template we have created, import. So now you can see that inside, oops, cannot save policy, add VPN list to component, blah, blah. So what it is telling that, okay, you have called this traffic rule, but still you have to go to policy applications. And these policies that we have called like traffic data and cfloat, we have to go and apply to certain places. So we know that we can go and apply it. I can go and take all and the site list. So cfloat also I want to apply to all the branches or all the sites. That's okay. And VPN, we have used VPN 10 for that. So I'll go and use my VPN. That's again okay. Click add. Go to the cfloat template itself. Here also you have to go and give the site. So we'll go and give the site. Click add. Now you can go and click to the preview See, number of lines are increasing. So first we have VPN membership policy, and then we have cFlow template, and then how it is applied, etc. Only two policies we have created. One policy we have created new. One policy we have called from somewhere. Yesterday we have created, and then we have called here. Right? Great. Again, I don't want to have so many things. Let me clean as well a little bit. So we have now two policy in our nested list, but we want to add more. We want to add 5 more policies. So going further, let me go and create one more policy related to traffic engineering. And actually this 3 and 7, or what is 6, both are same actually. We want to do same operation here. So done. This is also done. This is actually same. Number 3 and 6, because I want to show you the traffic engineering there. So that's the same thing. I'll rename this to 6, and let me go and remove this. So next we'll go and create this traffic engineering policy. What we want, let's see the agenda. So we want that branch 1 will go. So let me show you this policy. So prefer DC means you will go and apply this rule to branch 1. So branch 1 will prefer data center 1, and branch 2 will go and prefer data center 2. Now the logic you can see what we are doing, matching the route for data center 1 and then giving the preference 100 or 200 or 300. We know that preference higher is better, right? Then the same thing you are applying for DC2, but when you apply this policy, so for branch 1 you are telling that use this policy, and branch 2 you are telling to use this policy, right? Now in our lab you can see that we have only one data center, right? But what I will do that this particular section, I will assume that we have two data center, but actually it is not existing in our lab. In our lab we have only one DC, but there is no problem. We can go and create the policy. Suppose while activating the policy, if we have any problem, we'll check that. Okay, so we'll go and create this control policy, prefer DC. We'll go back to our vmanage and topology from the top, add the topology. Two control policy we have to create actually. Prefer DC1 and what you want to do. So let's go and check. Match the route for DC1. Matching the route. Now I will show you one nice thing here. While you matching the route, and suppose you haven't created the list, from here also you can go and create the list, right? So match the route DC1. DC1 belongs to what's the site ID? 100 in our lab. DC2 site ID, although we don't have DC2, assume DC2 site ID is 200. So match the site for site ID 100, or if you don't want that, then you can click site and then you can get the number. Let me remove this site list and see DC1. Both are same thing. Either you can give the number, or even here you can see that you have option to create the site as well. See, all multiple options we have here in this way. So match the site with DC1 whose ID is 100, and then what we want to do. So then we can go and take the action that we want to set the preference as 100 or 200 or 500. So for example, 500. Okay, great. So let's go back here. What we have done, that match the DC, set the preference, default action accept. This is one of the control policy. Likewise, we'll go and create one more for DC2, but here your default action should be as per the policy accept. So now we have one policy called prefer the DC. We can go and save the control policy. Now I want to create one more control policy. It's very much similar like prefer DC. So you can go and click. You can see in the bottom you have this prefer DC policy. You want to create one copy. So I can go and create one copy and I will do minor changes there. So this time this name is prefer DC2. Even you can give some more elaborated name. Prefer DC2 from branch 2, like that. You can give a name, big name. Okay, so now you can see in the bottom you have somewhere you will see that you have preferred DC2 here. Now you can go and edit this policy, and instead of DC1, you can click to this pencil icon, and I don't want this DC1. Click site. I want here DC2 with site ID 200. So it is not there in this list. What we can do, we can go and give here DC2. We are creating list here only. Once you create here, you can see this change there in that list as well. So in the list section, automatically it will go and create, okay, DC2. Now this time we want to match the DC2, and then we want to set the preference. You can leave it as it is, though, no problem, but you can give 500, 600. Default action, obviously enable, save.
Ratnesh, for you for that policy, you didn't take any action.
Yeah, so for that policy, the action is set the preference 100. That's the action. Let me show you the action.
Accept option.
Yeah, action accept preference. Let
When
me
did you
quickly
do
show.
that?
Yeah, I'll show you that one second. Let me go where we have preferred DC1 or maybe preferred DC2. Let's go back here. Let's click edit. So here you can see that we have our rule, and you can see action set preference 500.
Okay.
Then let me show you this action tab. See, action, what you can do, you can click preference 500.
Good.
All right, so now we have two control policy, and this control policy we want to call inside the centralized policy, right? We have one giant centralized policy, that's them in nesting policy. So I can go here and click edit, and once we are here, since this is control policy, I have to go and click to topology, right? So I will go and click to the topology, and then you will see that add topology, I want to import. So we want to import the policy custom that we have created. Let me type prefer. So it will go and search. See, prefer DC. I will call these both these up. See, at the moment it is taking only one. So I can go and import one policy first, and then I'll go and import next policy. So we'll add topology one more time, and then prefer DC branch 2 is selected. So now you can see that we have two control policy. Now, once we have the policy, we should go to apply policy, because these policy You can see on top, you can see only one, right? But if you scroll down from here, you will see the other as well. Now we have two policies here, but these two policies we have to apply, right? So add the site list. Now prefer DC2 from branch to where you want to apply. Obviously, you want to apply this to branch 2. So prefer DC2 apply to branch 2, like that you can do. Prefer DC1 will be applied to branch 1. That's the logic. So the outward direction, where is branch 2? See, branch 2 list is there. I will go and select that, click add. Then let's scroll a little bit down. Prefer DC1. This will be in the outward direction of branch 1. Add it. Now we can click preview. See, we have the VPN membership policy, then we have the C float policy, then we have two control policy. One control policy is prefer DC2 from branch 2, other one is prefer DC1. And then in the bottom, you will see apply section, one data policy, one C float, uh, C float template, then VPN membership. Then you can see that over the side, control policy 1, control policy 2. Total we have 4 policies so far. I can click save, right? Likewise, we are adding our policies. Let's go and add remaining. So this also we have created, done. Then I want to create service insertion policy, means redirecting the traffic towards the firewall, and I want to create multi topology as well. We have done in maybe day 1 or day 2 of our policy section. We haven't done service instruction so far, that we are going to do now. But multi topology, we have seen it. How when I spoke with multi topology. So these two things, 4 and 5, I will add inside one policy, both the task. Okay. And for that, I want to take a reference as well. So see, there is one nice reference we have. This policy, control topology with firewall insertion. Let's understand the logic for this. And here you can see there is one more policy, that's guest VPN drop something. What it is telling, that some internal IP you want to drop it. As a data policy, you can go and create as well. It's very easy logic, you'll understand. I'll not touch that just for you. Let's focus on multi topology. Now this multi topology plus firewall insertion, what this rule is telling, that match the route for all the branches for VPN 20 and set the T-lock towards data center. So what it is telling, for VPN 20 traffic, it will go follow hub and spoke. And then for VPN 10, for all the branches, it will go towards the firewall in the data center, and then it will go to the destination. Okay, this is the logic. So
Can you
let's,
explain me one more time, Ratnesh? It's a bit it's critical to me.
okay, so
Explain one more time the logic from the
yeah,
top.
yeah, sure, I'll explain. So what it is telling, that we have two VPN. We have, for example, VPN 20 and we have VPN 10. Okay. Now, so VPN 20, it is telling for all the branches, all branches route, it will set the T-lock. Setting T-lock means setting the next hop. So next hop will be DC, data center T-lock. And you know that how we can go and create the T-lock list. And for VPN 10, that may be your corporate traffic VPN. So for all the branches for this particular VPN, set this traffic towards the firewall. That firewall, I will show you the configuration for firewall. This is inside VPN 10, inside DC1. Okay, and we know this fact in our previous knowledge, that the firewall information devices they are sending to vSmart via the OMP update. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's do this. Clear my drawing. Okay, we'll go here. And since this is control policy, right? So I can go and create it from here, topology section, and then we'll call it to our nested policy. So add policy. This will be name. You can give any name. I'll give multi topology with firewall redirect. All right, let's see. So we'll go and match the route. So select the route, sequence rule, match a statement, match the route for all the branches. So we have one list called all branches. Okay, so match the route for all the branches, and then this is related to VPN 20. So the list is PCI VPN, that is VPN 20, you can see clearly. So match the route for all the branches for VPN 20, and then take action, that means action except, take it, and then your TLock is my DC TLocks.
Ratnesh, here we can create the policy at the DC site as well. So if one branch office is going to communicate to the DC1 and another branch office is going to communicate to the DC2 and backup is the branch office for the DC2 like that.
Yep.
Means cross connection.
Yes, so we have already done that in our previous policy, prefer DC1. That means we are
Yes, yes.
preferring DC1, by default DC2 is backup.
Yeah, yeah. So that policy we need to configure in the hub site, right?
Okay,
Means hub
uh,
or branch, and that is the configuration.
you can see here. So that policy we have, let me show you this. Policy we are creating is the name of policy, prefer DC1. So match the route for data center and set the preference. So you're right, we are creating this policy for data center routes, but we are applying this to the branch where we are applying. So VSmart will go and push this policy to the branches, and when branch will start routing, so they will prefer the data center.
But it is depend on the preference, right? The highest value will be the prefer first.
Yes.
But go back. Yeah, here I'm
Yeah.
seeing that there is a two configuration. In both sides,
Because
you
we
are
have
mentioning the.
because we have two different control policy. They are two different policies. Control. If we have one control policy, then we can give some different preference value, like this with this, and if I have sequence number 20 after that, so for this I can give preference as a 50. So you are right, actually you are right that this policy we can make little bit better. So what we can do, that in the same policy I can go and add one other rule. In that time I'll do go to sequence number 2, match the route for DC2 and set the preference 50. So what
Yeah,
I'm telling here, that let me quickly, I will then I'll remove that, because this will also work, but what you are telling, that is also correct. So here you can go and add one extra sequence, say sequence number 2, and here you can give DC2, and he can give preference 50, 50, less preference. And then you can apply this to branch 1. That means this will be preferred and this will be backup. And here you can reverse the logic. Here for DC2 it is 100, and then DC1 it will be 50 in the bottom. So
So, but
that's why.
if you, even you don't put that, automatically other days will be backup, right?
Means that is default behavior, right?
Then
It
why
will
to
go.
put extra configuration?
Yes, I'll tell you that will go via the default action. But here, if you do this via this configuration, then it will act with this sequence number 2
So this policy should be applied on the hub side,
branch
right?
branches.
Or branches.
Yes,
Okay, so this will be applied, suppose that there is a two branch office, so this policy will be applied in the one branch office so that they can identify that we need to prefer this 100 path, and if this 100 path will go down, then I will take the preference 50 to go to the DC,
yes,
right?
yep, yes,
Okay. But this policy will be configured in the vManage pushing to the vSmart, and from vSmart it will be pushing to the this branch office.
100% right. Whatever branch we'll select, that will be applied to that particular branch, and all the routers in that branch. Yes,
Oh,
or the site ID, you can say. Maybe multiple branches have same site ID, so it depends upon site ID.
so there is nothing is configured in the this hub site. Means is there any control policy we need to apply in the this hub site? Means whatever the traffic, suppose that if any traffic is coming from the MPLS link from any
See,
T-log.
why we are not pushing the configuration to the hub site? The answer is this: that you may have 100 branches, and you want to do the you want to do the uh, route preference just for 2 branches. So if you apply the policy to data center, that will be global change. That will get reflected to all the branches. That we don't want. We just want to isolate 2 or 3 or 4 branches, and we want to redirect the traffic. So that's the safe side. It doesn't mean that we can't apply to DC. It, it's up to you, means how you want to write your policy.
Means if I will apply the same policy in the DC, it will applicable to all the branch office.
Um, so what you can do, you can create the policy like that only. There's no problem in policy. While applying it, you can apply it to all the branches. That's it, right?
Right.
So again, you're right. So why creating two policy? No need to create two control policy, right? You create only one policy, and then you apply this to all the branches. Then no, it will not work, right?
No, no,
No,
it
no,
will
no,
It
no,
will
not
it will
work
not
not
because
work.
the
work.
name of the
You
DC
need,
will be
yeah,
changed, right?
because you have two category of branches. Few branches want
Right,
to
right,
prefer DC, few branches want to prefer DC2. So you have to create
correct.
two control policy. Yep, and then you can manipulate.
So when you apply on the DC, it will be in the same out direction, huh, Rajnesh?
Yeah. So direction. See, we are not applying to DC because clearly you can see apply to
No, no,
branch.
not this one. The other one we're talking. If you are applying on the DC,
Yeah. If
this
you
one
apply
and that
to
one.
DC, see, what's the direction out? That means going from VS Smart to edge devices.
So out, right? You have to
Yes,
go.
out. Yes, out. Yeah.
And sometime back you create one policy and that you put in, right?
That is
So
for
that,
route leak. Yeah,
so
that's
that
for route
no,
leak.
no, just today, not the Rowley.
I
Rowley was
haven't
extra, right?
used in so far in my any of my policy.
Today you created one policy and you put in, right? You open that notepad.
Oh, that notepad I am taking reference, but I'm not using
No, no,
exactly.
no. The name you put some policy name, right? Another notepad or something.
Okay,
You're
here.
going through a task list, right? Open the task list. Here, I think traffic engineering. You put some in direction, right?
No, is it done? Traffic engineering.
No, no, sorry. Maybe the BPM membership. I think that
VPN
one.
membership is like is just a membership. We don't have direction there.
But you sometime you create one policy, you put in direction, right?
Today I haven't done that, but yes, previous class when we have done this route leaking, in that one, that
That
policy
one
only I
of
have done.
in.
Hmm.
uh,
No problem. We'll see that if I have done anything by mistake, we can preview that. Yeah. So let's continue. Later on, we'll preview. We'll check the direction
Okay.
where we have applied. Okay, let's move on and let's check our policy. So what we want to do for all the branches for VPN 20, we want to set the next hop towards the data center, right? This is sequence number 1. Then again we'll go here and add sequence number 2, and in this time what we want to do, this time we want to match, what we want to match, we want to match all the sites or all the branches, not sites, all the branches with the VPN, this time VPN 10, that is my corp VPN or my VPN. And then we want to take action that the traffic should go towards the service, and that service is nothing but your firewall, and that firewall is exactly there in VPN 10. I'll show you that configuration in a while. Let me save this. And let me quickly check that default action for this policy. I don't want to differ from that. Okay, and then we have the default action, that's accept and save this policy. Now since you have the policy, now you can go back to the centralized policy and you can go to the nesting of the policy. You can go and click edit, because now you want to call one more control policy, and that control policy, what's the name of that control policy? Multi topology something, right? So we can go here and see multi topology with firewall redirect. Import it. Now once you import it, you have to go to the policy application, you have to go to the topology, you can see multi topology firewall redirect, where you want to apply this. We want to apply this to all the branches in the outward direction. So you can see the direction, multi topology insertion for all the branches in the outward direction. Great, so let's go here and we have this all branches. Click add, and now you can preview it. So you can see if I go and copy, oops, sorry for that. Let me copy this. We can go here. We have touched approx 150. If I remove all this, means we have touched almost 100 lines of configuration, just creating 4 policy or 5 policies. So for how many policies we have, you can see that we are applying to all the branches this firewall redirect, all the sites to data policy, cFloat, VPN membership, then branch 1, branch 2, right? So one control policy, how many? 1, 2, 3, one data policy, and one VPN. Right, let's continue and let's add more. So we have done these two. Oh, we are reaching to the end, no problem, we are doing good. So I can mark this as done. This also we can mark as done. We have section where I will go and explain about NAT, how NAT is happening in this. At the moment, simply I'm creating NAT policy. How you can go and create this NAT policy, it's actually easy. And there is one variation in the NAT policy, you will understand that. So what you want your branches will go and do local exit. So whatever branches you have, you want to do some sort of local exit for those branches. So I will take one example, maybe branch number 2 with VPN number 40. I want to do local exit. What you can do in the configuration, you can define which particular prefixes you have. you want to do the local exit. So let me quickly go ahead and see branch number 2.
That means this is the internet breakout, right? Local
Yeah,
internet breakout.
yes.
Yeah. Yes, most of the interview question there are also asking this thing. How do you configure the local internet breakout?
Yeah.
What is the meaning of this? Means how it is working? I'm not understanding clearly. Could you please explain through the diagram?
Yes, I can explain you, but don't worry. If you check this particular section, scroll down after app aware routing. Just after this, we have at least 50-60 slides just to understand how this is working. But anyways, I'll give you small brief about this, how this
Yeah,
local
means I
breakout
just
is
wanted to
happening.
understand what is the meaning of
But
internet breakout.
we have full
And
section related to this, so don't worry. If you do not understand this time, we have full
mm,
slide section. You will understand 100%. So what does it mean? Let me tell you that how this is. So we know that we have overlay. Overlay means that your IPsec tunnels, how the communication is happening from branch to branch, branch to DC, etc. But what is happening nowadays, and that's why the company, they have introduced one new type of technology. It's not new, but they're selling as a new technology, something SASE. Don't ask me the full form, you can check this. Something like secure access, secure edge, or maybe something like that. Maybe 60% matching whatever I'm telling. But whole idea behind this is this, that you don't want that your users, if those users, their application is hosted over internet, you don't want to go from branch to data center and then you want to do local exit. What you want, that instead of using IPsec tunnel to reach to data center, if your users, they have cloud resources near to themselves, they can directly go outside and use it. Okay, so this is referring as a local breakout. That means the users, suppose Office 365. So if this Office 365 is near from this from that particular branch with internet, why you will go to data center and then come back and go to outside? Not right. So you will not do that. But the biggest problem here is this, that when you directly expose to the cloud, at that time your threat level may be 175 to 100%. That maybe you are prone to attacks, your threat surface is increasing. And if you want to learn more about threat surface and security, join my firepower course. Just kidding. So means
it is
you
just
can
like a direct internet access, you can say, right?
expose, yeah. If you are
So
doing
we are
local,
using the firewall before going to the internet, right?
yes. So uh, firewall, see, again, it depends upon design. So suppose if I have one branch, sorry for that. So if I have one branch with 20 users, will you use Palo Alto? Will you use firepower? No, right? If you have 10 users, will you use that physical hardware? Answer is no, right? There are chances that your branches, they are very small branch. Then what you will do? So then what customers are doing, that they are creating secure gateway to cloud hosted firewalls such as Zscaler, such as iBoss. There are so many, such as Cisco Umbrella, that is also booming. And from
So
that
this
gateway,
G scaler is working like a secure gateway, right? And Cisco
secure
umbrella as well.
Cisco
So
Umbrella,
before
yes.
going to the internet, it is going to first to the G scaler and then G scaler, which is going the traffic to the internet cloud.
Yeah, yeah. So users, they are not going to VPN, IPsec VPN, etc. to the fabric. Directly they are going out, they are coming back.
So this G scaler box is cheaper than the firewall.
This
because
is
still
really
we
good.
are using because
Yeah,
still we are implementing the G scaler instead of the firewall.
it's a really good question. So once you take, oops, sorry, once you take Zscaler, you will not take for one site, right? You will use Zscaler for your multiple branches. And since this is cloud hosted service, that will be cheaper than firewall. And um, other thing I can tell you here is this, that the design, again, you can check the design and find that we are using firewall to Palo Alto or whatever. We are using that firewall for our corporate traffic. Still you have firewall, but you are going directly outside. Then you can go and use Zscaler. They are giving licenses actually. They are not like you purchase the hardware, you have to pay. If you have 10 user, 20 user, then they will charge this much. If you have 100 users, then they will charge this much. What is the throughput? According to that, they are charging. Since this is Indian company, so they are charging less. But there is problem with this company now because of, you can go and check, Net Spoke is one company which is coming with SASE solution. Even Cisco also have SASE solution with Cisco umbrella, but their SaaS or SASE solution is really good, and they are complementing Zscaler business. In terms of cloud gateway, Zscaler has 60% market share. Now it will drop, and maybe in coming 1 year, 2 year, you'll find that this company is going up. Okay. Any other question you have? We have complete section on Zscaler, so don't worry. We'll check that later on.
So the
Hmm.
previous one you're doing right. You're telling that it will go to the firewall
Yeah.
previous policy. So that is which firewall? Local site firewall or data center firewall?
In DC, we have firewall.
Okay, so okay, so that previous policy, whatever you're telling firewall, that is a DC firewall.
Yes. And this is local exit
Mhm.
for other VPN, except VPN 10 and 20. So in branch number 2, I have one VPN called VPN 40. That VPN we are using for internet traffic, for local breakouts. Okay.
So rather this local breakout means it has to go to the SASE cloud or like it can directly take internet and go out also.
Yeah, I told you that I have section with 70, 80 slides for that. So don't
Okay.
worry. Just hold on. Okay, I will explain everything. You'll understand. At the moment, if I start explaining, it will take 30 minutes at least. Just just think like this at the moment, that you are going outside with some security. You are not using your overlay resources to go outside. So then you can use local breakout. Okay, we'll move and we'll check that Nat rule. While creating the rule, it's very easy. You select the prefix, select the VPN, and then create the data policy. Data policy always under VPN. For that particular data policy, you can see match the traffic, whatever prefix list we have, and then action, use VPN 0. So what it is telling, that you have some prefixes. Suppose I have one router and I have VPN 40 here. Here I have some prefixes in this VPN 40, maybe 1110/24. Now with this particular IP, I want to use NAT. And when we are using NAT 0 something, that means we are using VPN 0. So this IP get translated over VPN 0, and then it will reach to the internet. So we are defining the prefix, we are defining the VPN, and then we are using the NAT inside the data policy. That's the whole idea. But I have to explain you about how the NAT is happening. I have to explain you about the local breakout. in upcoming section. So don't worry about that. I'll explain that.
One doubt. You
Yes,
just
yes.
sometime like you told it will not use VPN 0.
Yeah. So
But now you're saying it will use VPN
that is
0.
for local breakout.
Okay. So what is this one? This is netting, huh?
This is NAT. You are hiding your IP going to the outside.
Okay.
But your question is valid. Whatever you ask, just hold on. I will explain you in upcoming section, because if you go and check your diagram, you'll find that your physical connection is always under VPN 0. Either if you are doing local breakout or you are having VPN connection. But later on I'll explain you about this. I haven't explained this, that you have big pipe inside VPN 0. One is used for IPsec, one is used for OMP, and one is used for NAT inside VPN 0 itself. Okay. So three different type of traffics are flowing inside VPN 0. Now the scope for VPN 0 traffic when you are using NAT is local. It will go and terminate locally somewhere. Okay, so let's create the policy. We are focusing more on creating the policy at this moment. Let's go and do it. Where is that policy? It's very easy, straightforward, right? Let's do it. Yeah. So now I want to create one data policy just to do the local breakout for few of the network inside branch 2 inside VPN 40. So I can go click to the custom option, and then we want to create the centralized policy but for traffic policy. Traffic data, add the policy, create new, local breakout NAT. All right, very good. So what we want to do here, I can use this custom. In custom, you'll get everything. So custom policy and this custom policy match. What you want to match? Match the prefix, match the source prefix, source IP, right? So somewhere we'll find the source IP. Here you can see source data prefix. Now, if you don't have, obviously you can go and create one. So I'll go and create branch to internet traffic. IPv6 was the IP. Okay, no problem. 1.1.1.0/24. Save it. Let's see. Here we have branch to internet traffic. So matching the prefix, that's the branch to, right? And obviously when you apply it, it will ask you which VPN. So we are inside the VPN, assume we are inside the VPN matching this particular uh, IP address. Then we want to take action. Action, what you want to do? Action, you want to do NAT VPN 0. So NAT VPN, you can see this is 0. And they are telling fallback as well. If that will not work, then it will go and try the. It's actually the little bit advanced topic, right? We are discussing here, but the point here is this, that if you go and use fallback, it will inside VPN 0 itself, it will go and use one flow that is for NAT. And if NAT is not reachable or some problem with NAT, it will go and try check the IPsec connection to reach to the data center. a small checkbox, but it's doing so many things. Okay, and what was the last thing? Default action accept. That's it. Then we'll go and apply to whatever branch we want to apply it. So let's go back here, save this. Let's click to the default action. Default action is accept, save. Save this data policy. Finally, we have to go back to the centralized policy, and we have to call that. So we can go here and we can do the edit data type. So not this. Where is our data policy? On top, right? The inside traffic rules. So you can go to traffic rules and then traffic data, and now you can go and import the data policy that we have created for internet. You can search or you can select like this, import. Once you import, you have to go and apply it. So you have your data, traffic data policy, local breakout NAT, for which particular which particular VPN from services. This is applied from service side. See this, that's why I took this example. When you apply this, you want to apply this from the services. Why? Because your data policy, right? You want to go inside VPN, you have NAT tunnel, and to for whom you are doing, for your VPN, say VPN 40. So this VPN 40, you can go and apply this policy on this interface from service side, right? So we are almost done here. Let's go back, and then you from services, and what's your VPN? First of all, what is your branch? My branch is branch number 2. And then what's your VPN? VPN is VPN 40. Then guest VPN is VPN 40. Add it, and we can click preview. Let's see that policy. Let me do one thing. If I can copy this entire policy, let me go little down. Copy, and I'll share this policy for you. You can check your chat window. If it is too big, I can share inside some WhatsApp as well. Okay. Policy changes. I don't know what is this. Okay. So now let's see here the policy that we have created for NAT. Applying to guest VPN, match 1110/24, take action accept, NAT VPN 0, fallback is there, accept, and then we are applying this policy. This is nesting of policy. Okay. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. This is one of the biggest lab we have in our course. Everyone is so much silent.
This forest is a bit like last one is a bit critical, complex.
It's not critical, it's easy. Just a NAT policy. I have to explain you that within VPN 0, how this NAT, IPsec, and OMP, there are different tunnels within VPN 0. how it
We
is
need
happening.
to see the video again, then we can understand fully.
Yeah, I told you before starting this class that this
Yeah,
is difficult. Today's session is little difficult. You have to go and watch this video.
overall, this policy session is difficult.
That's right. This
We need
SD-WAN
to,
policy is,
yeah, read it carefully in our home as well.
yeah. So as
And
the
one more
architect,
thing,
you have
yeah,
to work on
Ratnesh,
these
one more thing.
policies.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in this lab, whatever you are doing in the vManage, so
Mm.
suppose that if we want to create our own lab, so we can go there and create